Docking station. Dun, 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 dun.
So,
And welcome back to another episode of The Purple Pill. I am your host, Lady Jane. And this seems to be my co-host, Tokyo.
I am Tokyo.
I thought that I would have other people on my show, and so far I have not. We work, so maybe. We'll see.
Indeed.
So today,
yes, I was
the question of the day. Well, we have
the
a question of the
that's
day.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Because it's kind of like a thing now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so question of the day. Do 1%ers have an advantage over like 95%ers? The poor boys. Or do lower income, we'll say under 50,000, have more of an advantage when it comes to dating and keeping and entertaining women? Who really has the better advantage? And I know I'm asking this question based off of you had a story to tell.
Yes, I did. So it's quite fascinating. So I was listening to a buddy of mine explain how men who are 1%ers make the money, have the abs, super successful CEOs that are single have a harder time. And it blew my mind. Have a harder time getting and talking to a female. Blows my mind. And he was explaining that this was due to the fact that a high value guy, a high successful guy, super intense, hustle, grind, the whole 9 yards. He is in his head. He is constantly focused on a business. He's constantly focused on how to optimize, how to do this. He is in work mode nonstop. And so he doesn't know how to let go. And when you enter the language of the womanese, a lot of that is navigating conversation that really has nothing to do with anything per se. It's much so banter than logical conversation, right? It is fun and free and flowy versus A to B and B to C. And so that guy, that workaholic or, the 1%er, though he has all these accolades and, and like you said, even if he's super buff, if he's rigid, right, and character, he's not going to know how to have fun. And that's going to, how can I put this? It's going to make things stale.
Okay. So you think the 1%er makes things stale?
They can if they're inside their head. The 1%er, if the 1%er doesn't have, if he depends on his havings, I have a nice body, I have a nice car, I have a nice house, I have a nice job, and I make a lot of money. Unfortunately, it does not equate to really getting the woman, because what gets the woman are the non-tangibles, making her laugh, piquing her interest with mystique. Most guys that are, rigid 1%ers, they don't have the ability to read the room per se. They can't translate, and I can speak from experience, can't translate the personality through text,
I mean, no, I'm not even translating personality through text. No, thank you. That's a lot of work.
Because
you're going to think I have a tone, and I don't have one. You're going to make it up in your mind.
Yeah.
It's what we all do. I'm going to make up a tone for you.
Interesting.
Depending on what you said.
Okay.
That depends on your tone. My tone is, how I speak is how it is, and I fluctuate certain things, and some things I don't. So, okay, so did you know that 86% of millionaires are married?
80. It went up?
65% are in their first marriage. So roughly 20% of millionaires got remarried.
Wow.
And one thing I was looking at is that, so when I saw 57% of millionaires, what I saw is that was over 20 years of marriage. But even still, you're looking at 86% married and 65% in their first marriage. They have a higher success in marriage than your typical broke man. Their success in marriage is actually higher. So you talk about how it's harder for, one percenters. One percenters, I think, make $800 and something thousand a year to make them a one percenter. Their value would be worth millions because that would be per year, whatever. And then it goes up, right? And then you have 0.5%, which is, whatever. God knows what it is these days. I was probably an 11% earner. 10% was 167, and I came in at 164. So I don't want to be that. I worked so hard, and I don't want to work that hard. I need a man that wants to work hard. My bad. I have Wesley.
Oh no! Now he strikes again.
So roughly 57% of men have been married over 20 years that are millionaires. So now most of them were not millionaires when they got married either.
Oh, let's talk about it.
So I think that it has to do with these are the women that have stayed with them. These are the women that have worked up and supported and played that woman supporting role. They are the reason that these men were able to do that. You look at Dan Pena. Dan Pena was a Marine.
You know about Dan Pena?
Hoorah. The $50 billion man. Yeah, he used to be called the $1 Million Man. Think and Grow Rich, Release Your Brakes. Those are 2 books that he highly recommends. Nice. Dan Pena has the $1 billion. He's the $50 billion man, I think, now because he's helped people make over $50 billion. He was the $1 million man, then the $1 billion man because he helped. Now he's like, I think, $50 billion man. And his net worth is about $500 million. Susan, I think, is her name. His wife's name. Could be Sarah. I'm pretty sure it's Susan. I mean, he talks about her all the time. She is the reason that he was able to do that. Why he has a freaking castle in Scotland. Because of his wife. He married her from the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Like either shortly after or while he was still in. I can't remember right now, but he was a Marine. I think he was an officer. And then you have Robert Kiyosaki or Kiyosaki. Thank you. Mm-hmm. He was a Marine.
What?
Hoorah. Also, been married to his wife for how long? Since he was in Marine Corps. Or shortly thereafter. Before he was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, so the point is that that's why I'm trans wealthy. I believe in, these Marines have paved the way for us few female Marines that exist out there. It was 6% when I joined, so I know it's not a lot of us that exist out there, but I believe that they paved the way.
Explain to them about the trans wealthy.
Trans wealthy. So I identify as a 1% earner, even though I'm an 11% earner. I worked hard enough because 1% earners work all the time, and there is no work-life balance. That's not a real thing.
Very true.
Very subtly can you actually get that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's not what you think it is. And I had no work-life balance, which is why I was able to almost reach 10%. Also, I'm not a man, so I think that there were times when I wanted to rest and I could, and so I did. That's probably not sexist at all. I'm probably just talking. I was probably just lazy, but who knows? I'm trans wealthy. Anyways, yeah. So these 2 men who are some of the richest men now, billionaires, okay, have never been divorced. They are on their first marriage. I mean, you look at Bill Gates, he only just now got divorced.
Yeah. What was that about?
I think it was about Pizzagate, but what do I know? Epstein's List and Island, but what do I know? I don't know. I'm just a commoner.
God, it takes me back to the clip from South Park where Bill Gates was flying on a jetpack with somebody else, And the guy flying with him was like, "Wow, everybody looks like ants up here." He's like, Bill Gates goes, "They are ants, John. They are ants."
Yeah. I mean, I believe it. So, but I think it has to do just like Robert or Jeff Bezos got divorced finally, billionaire, right? His wife, $40 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think he's remarried, but
I'd be surprised if he did.
But he was married. He would definitely need a prenup. But he would be very much. I mean, he was married, I think, over 20 years.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, you look at these people and it's like, okay, so they are really pretty much, that's what it is. And so that's what people don't understand is that, and if you notice, which I think is kind of ironic because 70% of 80% of divorces are filed by women. And they filed divorce against their husbands. Their husbands didn't file divorce. They did. Also, what's funny, ironically enough, lesbian married couples have a higher than normal divorce rate at 70 something percent. Isn't that ironic? Like women leave 70 to 80% of the time. A woman married to a woman. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's not, I just work here. We're talking about rich people, not sexuality of people. So, but that's the point. And so in my world, I do capitalism conferences and things like that. And what I've noticed is that I've been told by multiple men who are millionaires, a few made 25 million a year, a couple million like in their lifetime. They don't want to be in business with someone who cheats. Some of them talk about cheating on their spouse, and some of them talk about cheating at golf. So there's two ways that they talk about cheating.
How do you cheat at golf?
You cheat at golf. You say you got something that you didn't get. Like how many strokes, you write it down. I cheat all the time at golf, but I only do putt-putt. So it's like, I'm cheating. So it's not even a secret. So I don't know what that's like because I don't cheat on people. So like, I don't cheat where it counts. And I don't play real golf. And I don't think I could cheat at real golf because you're going to see how many strokes I make it in, right? But putt-putt, you're also going to see it. I'm like, did that count? And you're going to tell me no. And then I'm not going to count it. So really, is it even cheating? Like it's, you know what I'm saying? So as far as that goes, but neither here nor there. But that's their biggest thing, especially like, you look at Italian mafia, right? The mob, how it used to be. If you cheat on your wife, they would basically excommunicate you. They would beat you to a pulp. They would do all kinds of stuff. Because if you cheat on the one person that's supposed to have your back, the one person that's supposed to support you and what are you going to do to your brothers, to your family? You know what I'm saying? So that's an age old tradition depending on the culture.
Wow.
Right. It's very cultural, like Italians. Irish people just were never really big on the cheating either. It wasn't, we had potato famines, we weren't rich,
potato famines.
Yeah, it's a whole thing that anyways, the UK, like we had stuff. So, but yeah, essentially that, and it does help when a woman plays her role as a support, the places a man could go and what you can gain from that as a woman. And what I mean is like, imagine, let's just say me and you are married. And I actually truly support you in what you're doing. When I have free time, we're not, we're doing this, right? Let's say we did this as a married couple.
Right.
Again, those of you who have been following us for 3 weeks now, we are actually not romantically involved in any way. We have two different views on relationships and on monogamy and on marriage and on all of that. So we are not compatible.
No.
But we love each other.
Indeed.
Very much, like as people, we care about each other. We respect each other. But we're friends, and we're using
associates.
We were using the word coworker earlier,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go with that.
Cohort.
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 What is it actually?
Cohort.
That's somebody who
like robs a bank together.
Okay, that's what I thought. Why wasn't? Yeah. Okay. Anyways. I was going somewhere with that.
Yes.
Oh, let's say that we are romantically, and then you're starting your, you do the wow man shift, right? And then, which has to do with you doing public speaking, teaching a few classes on how to shift from being bling bling to being like actually making the real money and being authentically you. And I'm like, yes, let's do that. And then I'm in your corner and I'm supporting you. Imagine how much further you could go when you have the right. Let's say Erin is that woman for you. Let's say she's supportive. I mean, she's been supportive, at least emotionally, in areas. So let's say she's actually that woman who's like, yeah, like, oh yeah, I'll do edit. I can do some shorts for you guys. Like I can do. And then she's like, oh yeah, you're doing a conference. Let me go set up a camera while you speak. Oh yeah, and she does this stuff because she has a time. And so it's like you have this woman who has your back and is playing the support role, which is what we were created to be, the helpmeet. And we're not worried about you making my dream come true, because your dream is now my dream, and we're going to do this together, and how much further you can go. And so I think that people don't realize that a woman who can be submissive and supportive to a man is in the safest place she could be.
Ooh.
But it has to do with, choose the right man.
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying women don't get abused and then scared into choosing the wrong man, because that does happen. But essentially, like, when you see red flags, like, don't do that whole what we talked about last episode, right? Which was, the up and down, the toxicity that we get addicted to, like, scientifically. Like, we don't want that. So
that doesn't have long-term benefits at all. Yeah.
So we sit here, let me circle back. And we look at these red pill podcasts. And I sat here and saw this video. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it. I think people should hear. And this is what he said. And I'm actually going to wind up playing. I will insert here when I edit. Of course, now it doesn't want to load super fast. You like that donut? Like, what's up with that?
It's so, I don't know.
Okay, now this is what, hold on.
As far as eating pussy goes, man, my take on it is I think it's a submissive.
Wrong one.
Wrong one. It's another one he did, though. But I thought that was funny because someone tried to regurgitate that. And I was like, they tried to regurgitate. They were like, as far as that goes, I think that's submissive and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bro, shut up. Because then he said the same thing. I thought that was ironic. It's funny how people, they try to say, oh, it's submissive. But it's like, unless you generally enjoy that, like, bro, lick the cooch. Okay, no, this is it.
Uh-oh.
If she's not annoying you, want to see you more. If she's not annoying you, want to see you more.
Let me see.
Pestering you about more time. Always trying to get your attention.
She's getting it somewhere else. Guaranteed, bro. Somewhere else. Either let the guy.
That's not it. Sorry. But he looks like that. I'm going to get it. Okay, that was... Okay.
Yes. And I do what the fuck I want to do.
Are you in a relationship?
Yes. And I do what the fuck I want to do. I didn't bust my ass and make all this money so I could fuck one girl. That's stupid. And that's how a lot of men that make money think. Like, that's the reality. Men don't go out there and become successful and everything else like that to have a woman dictate how the fuck they're going to live their life. The thing that made me attractive in the first place because I live my life on my terms. I'm not going to give that up because I get a girl. Men and women love differently, and we provide loyalty in different ways. And men don't provide loyalty through sexual fidelity. That's your job. That's a woman's job, is to provide sexual fidelity. Men provide love loyalty, where I give a shit about you, I will protect and fight for you. Right? I'll lay my life on the line for you. That's how men show loyalty. But women tend to conflate the two and think that we're the same and we provide loyalty the same. No, because men and women are different. We bring different things to the table, which includes the utility that we bring to the table. Your job as a female is to not be a whore and embarrass me. And my job as a man is to provide for you, take care of you, and fight and protect you and die if I need to keep you alive. That's more important.
Are you in a relationship?
So here's my thing about that. Bro, how many people are really in life or death situations? Like, they talk like it's a life and death situation that most people will never face. Men or women will never face a life or death situation in their entire lifetime. And I mean most, like at least, I'm going to say 80%, okay? Without looking up the stats, and I'm sure that we have this somewhere, okay? I'm sure I can look this up, and if I can, I will definitely place them in the edited version.
I'd be curious to see that.
You do not, bro, what? You do not have a life and death situation where you talk about, I'll live my life. You don't even go to war. You're not even a veteran. You don't even protect my rights. And you want to talk about, oh, well, because I might have to get up at 2 a.m. to see what the noise is. The likelihood of someone breaking into your house at 2 a.m.
We didn't talk about this stuff.
I'll say probably a good 20%.
Yeah.
Like across the nation. You talk about that. I've seen more life or death situations at under 40 than people will see in 3 lifetimes. Okay, like it doesn't exist. Everything in my life is like, there are people, I'm so glad there are people that have been at certain places in my life, because I promise you'd be like, are you, like at some point you'd be like, is this real? Okay. But there are people who have been at certain places in my life that can attest to these things. Okay. So it's like, okay, y'all talk about that. Y'all as in men who want to be this, you know, in the red pill space, bro, like what are the chances of that happening? I'm going to go on a whim and say 20%. And I think it's less than that. Okay. I'm going to go on a limb and say 20%. And it also depends on the areas you're in. I'm sorry, if you are a 1%er, you're not in the hood, so there goes a lot of the crime. Right. You're not in the redneck whatever areas, which gated is a white hood. Okay, you are not in the poverty-stricken areas that are going to cause you to get robbed at gunpoint. Okay. And unless you live in certain cities, like Kansas City might be 7th on the map for murder. But it's targeted. Like, it's a very unique crime. It's a very unique crime. That's why remember that sheriff, that black sheriff? They said, what are you going to do about the crime? He said, it'll sort itself out. And then they voted him out. Or no, he was a police chief. Then they voted him out, and then they forced him out, and then they voted him in as sheriff, as Jackson County sheriff. Because he's like, it'll sort itself out. He's not wrong. So, I mean, it's targeted. So how would it be? You know what I'm saying? So... But once again, you know, y'all, he talked like that. He said, oh, I didn't do that. And most men will be at least 50%. If 65% are still in their first marriage and 85% of millionaires are married, why are you getting married if you're sleeping with other? That's not their case. I know 2 millionaires that lost their whole business, and good enough that they were able to get it back because they messed with the wrong woman. And one guy that lost his partner because he messed with the wrong woman. People don't play with their money. And so what I'm saying is, you're doing all this and you have to think, how many millionaires do I know? Now, I've been in a place where I met he was a Marine too, I can't remember his name, the CEO of Rifle Coffee. I met him. I've met Ryan Moran. I've met Dan Pena. I've met these people. I've talked to them. I've shook their hand. I've asked them questions face to face. I've met these people. I've had conversations. I'm where these people are. And majority of all of them, there are people, I was with people I didn't even know were millionaires. Okay. I looked them up. 25 million. This dude has a wife and kid. He ain't going nowhere. He talked about his wife the whole time. He didn't even talk about he does CrossFit. He didn't even talk about his CrossFit company. Dude's worth 25 million. Like, that's the thing, is that people don't realize is that when you have a good person in your corner, that's all that matters. And all these people, like, that's what they had. And they became something based off having someone. And then they try to keep that someone. And if something happens where they don't work out, they might have a time. I mean, okay, men, innate nature, whatever, but you keep talking about, my job is to protect. I didn't make all this money to sleep with one woman. That's stupid. Most men believe in monogamy. Most rich men believe in monogamy. It's safer for your money that way. Imagine messing with a side chick and you get her pregnant. Look at all these basketball players, NFL players, actors, singers, how much they have to pay for child support. They're paying $20,000. millions of dollars a year in child support because she had a kid. So what I'm saying is, people say this, and okay, maybe that's why he got rich. Now we'll say, he said, we provide in different ways. I believe that we do. Like, I should not bring what you bring to the table. We should bring two different things to the table.
Correct.
What you bring as a man is more tangible than what I bring. What I bring is not tangible, but it is something that is going to help you. And if it doesn't, then we are not sitting at the right table. We need to switch and sit with somebody else. Correct. Okay. So it's like, with that being said, these men talk about this, and that's so poisonous, because you had old Joe. I wish old Joe was here right now. He just wants to be loved.
Right. See, he's the guy that we talk about, or that my buddy is referencing, which is a good human being. Mm-hmm. Good money, good stats. He's fit, right? I think he said, 6'4"?
He said 6'4", 230. That's a good build.
Yeah, it's a good build. I mean, sure,
whether he works out or not.
45 or yeah.
Okay, and how tall are you?
6'1", 6'2".
Okay.
So yeah.
So he's built about like you. Even if he didn't work out, he still would have. That's still not a bad build for being 6'4".
No, not at all. That's not unattractive.
Right,
it's not unkept.
6'4", 230 or whatever he said is still.
So
that's like, even if he doesn't work out, it's like only dad bod vibes.
Correct. So like when you look at that, what the guy was getting at. Now on the flip side. So we got old Joe, good. I'm just gonna say good ass dude, because we met.
We're gonna go off what he said.
So good dude, traditional, good dude. Right?
Yeah.
He's trying to date, looking for the one. Okay.
Right.
Versus the Dusty, with his, I'm gonna go back in time here, with his ICP clown posse sticker and his tank top and his freaking, Pontiac Grand Am that's got a hubcap missing, listening to System of a Down and Godsmack and
hey, System of a Down. What is it? Angels Deserve to Die. Oh, that is a great song. That's a great song. Anyways, continue.
Not gonna lie. So
you said not gonna lie. See.
So with that being said, boom, girl. Are they keeping them? No, but they're getting them.
Do you think, look at the quality of women they're getting, though. Like, look at that. And so the thing is that
it's hard to say, because at least when I think back to those times and think back to those people, there are good women to get mixed up with them.
And sometimes there are, but the problem is that those good women, they're good women because they're going to stay with that man and support him, but they're toxic as fuck.
Well, I would venture to say that they're good at first and become toxic, because I've met some girls
because they have daddy issues. Like, look at them. They might be a good woman. Like, they know that they should be loyal. They're not going to, cheat on him. They're going to do things that he asks. They're going to kind of cater to him. But they have real daddy issues. Their dad was never there. They're looking for that attention. They're looking for, that. So a daddy issue unhealed is detrimental to a woman.
I would have to agree.
And that's why I am a firm believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay. He could be that daddy, and he the perfect one, when you depend on him. And the things that happen once you depend on him, it's something only he can do. He can, only God can get the glory in those situations.
And then I'll say that for guys as well. When I designed the Wild Man Shift program, the first aspect of it is on that introspective.
Oh, Joe is back.
He's back.
Oh, yay! We were just talking about you. So if you're looking at this part, we just rewind just a little bit. We were just talking about you, just a little bit.
Yes. So and I would say, when it comes to guys, when you start that introspective journey, you must understand first who you are in source creation, right? Which then allows you to understand your PPPs, path, process, purpose, to then flow.
What I think is, do you know that a couple that prays together stays together? Do you know what the percentage is?
I don't.
99%. A couple that prays together, literally, consistently, not just we're going to pray together at church on Sunday, okay? A couple that prays together consistently, using the word consistently. I don't know if that means every day, multiple times. A couple that is it wine? Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit of wine. Joe asked if it's wine.
Oh, nice.
But a couple that prays together has a 99% success rate. A marriage that prays together. Less than 1% divorce rate with couples that pray together. And so that makes me wonder, where's the heart actually at? Like, are they just praying for the other person in that 1% chance case?
Right.
99% chance you have of staying with someone if you pray together. So it's things that you can actually do to like actually help your relationship. Now that was done across I know it involved Christian and Muslim relationships, so it wasn't just like in Christianity, although of course I believe in Jesus Christ. But yeah. Okay, so the initial attraction. How does wealth or poverty influence first impressions?
Ooh. Now, he was talking about this as well.
Uh-huh.
So you have your typical guy, your typical, let's call him fuckboy, that, tank top, his, whatever mainstream hairstyle, whether black or white, and has the chains, not real.
He has 84 Coupe de Ville.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but yes. Because it's American. Anyways, so...
Hey, first gen American made muscle. Boy, don't get me started. Anyways.
So, yes, chains, watch, all fake, but it appears that way. Versus guy with wealth, maybe has a Tesla hat, dresses very nice, wears a modest watch, right? But he's got the paid-for Tesla Plaid, mind you, which is a 6-figure car, sitting outside.
In my experience, most guys with wealth, I mean, if you're looking like upper and you're in a place where I was wearing a suit, but if you see a guy just out on the street, now as far as the car they drive, you normally don't see the car a guy drives, right? You normally don't. Let's be honest.
No.
They wear shoes like New Balances.
Or the new On shoes.
They wear just regular jeans, some Wranglers or some shit, nice white shirt. Like, they might be nice and clean and, crisp and new. They might wear some Nikes, but you're probably looking at like some, not those $20,000 pair of shoes that you buy.
Correct.
They're wearing like some comfortable dad Nike shoes.
Okay, so I'll even throw Nike to the side. I've seen
Joe, what do you wear? Please tell us, Joe, what kind of clothes do you wear? Especially if they're like farmers. They just wear jeans, maybe a flannel. Well, and they be millionaires too. Like,
that's true.
Just saying.
Now, here's my thing. First impressions, it count, and I'll use my business mentor for example. First impressions count against him because they come off as boring. A millionaire has nothing. When you hit that, I'm assuming you have nothing to prove. I haven't hit the millionaire yet, but I will. So, like, at the end of the day, I like the fact that despite not needing to prove yourself, by not proving yourself on a image scale, unfortunately counts against you.
That turns off women?
No. I don't think turn off's the right word. I just think that they become, as my business mentor would say if he was watching this, they become invisible.
If you have a healthy woman, if she's healthy mentally, if she's not healthy, you have that. I agree, it takes a huge amount of money to make a massive difference.
Yeah.
I think it depends because, okay, so you have someone like me, and I know I'm kind of the oddball out. Okay, we kind of talked about which one of our topics will be, should a man pay on a first date? We're going to just dive a little bit. I'm cool with coffee dates also. Like coffee for a pre-date. You know, we can call it pre-date.
Yeah.
Coffee is great. I get there, I'm going to buy my coffee, order my coffee, sit down, wait. You order yours. Nobody's out their pocket for... Worst case scenario, we get there about the same time. Yeah. You spend $5, give or take, for a cup of coffee.
8
and then
plus tip.
Maybe 10 because maybe there's, a pastry or some shit, depending on where you are, right? Cool. You're not really out of pocket, right?
No.
Now, I sit here. I went on this date with a guy. And I said, there's the museum. The museum on Saturdays has like taco trucks and stuff out.
Nice.
Nelson Art Gallery, like there's a park. See when they have the trucks and stuff. You could have took me to a free museum. Instead, you took me to Chili's. Okay.
Ooh.
You know what? No. Take me to Chili's. That's fine, because if that's what you can afford, cool.
Okay.
You take me to Chili's, and the bill is $69.
What? How do you do that?
And you only have 61 in your account. You cannot manage your money. And so I don't want somebody who can't manage their money. Like, you don't have to be rich for me, but if you can't manage money, that's not going to work for me. Like, that's to me why a guy pays. Because if you take me someplace that you can't afford and you're trying to like balance stuff, that's a red flag for me. Because first of all, you don't not be yourself. And again, I know I'm not the norm, but don't not be yourself. But take me someplace. Again, coffee is a good first date. Your salary was $150. Your clothes were always worn out. Same vehicle. See, that's the whole thing I'm saying. The more money you make, honestly, unless you're making the money to impress people, all the men in the red pill space are making money to impress people.
Correct, and that's
in my
because
opinion.
You know there's
You don't care. You
a
just
goal in
chilling.
mind. You know, like you
probably got money in the bank.
When you do when you do latch on to your path, process, and purpose, and women are no longer the problem or focus, that's when they come.
Women
And
are
it's
no
so-
longer the problem.
Sorry.
But I'm no longer your problem, sir. I was the problem you never knew you had.
God dang it. No, seriously, then they come, and it's weird. And I do believe there's an energetic, I'm going to get metaphysical here. I do believe there's an energetic narrative to this. I think there's a frequency that we put off, just like, and I found this out. God, who was I talking to? There's some nice old lady that was telling me how plants give off a frequency that when they have pollen, they provide a frequency on a certain megahertz or a gigahertz. Yeah.
Something.
Yep. That the bee, when flying past, is alerted that there's pollen there and goes to it.
Okay.
When the bee lands and
believe it. It sounds
shoots the
legit.
pollen to the bee, that same plant sends a different frequency that when a second bee flies past,
Not to
telling
go.
it not to go.
So that's
Didn't know
like
plants could
men
do
in the
this.
1%.
Well, I'm relating this back to men in the red pill space.
Okay.
That like when women are the focus, right? Because I've done it before. Heck, even recently now. If I'm feeling myself one day, I'm in the mall and I'm just walking and jazzing it up, and I see a cute girl. In my mind, I'm like, oh, she should see me. Look at me. I'm just shit. Like, you know, when that's going on in my mind, right? And she's just oblivious.
I don't even
There's
care.
an energy that
And I
is
walk
felt.
like I don't care about men. I just walk. My head is up, and I don't care. So Joe asked, "Are we both people of faith?" The answer is yes.
Yes.
We both believe in Jesus.
Yep.
I believe in the Bible.
Yep.
He is more spiritual,
Spiritual.
and he is seeking biblical truth. So we are on different. And what I mean is like you're spiritual.
I'm spiritual.
Okay.
I
You
believe in
use the
aspects of
word
the Bible,
spiritual.
but I
Right.
don't follow Christian practices. I believe that every religion has a piece of the truth.
No, I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I believe, because every religion does talk about Jesus, if we want to
Yeah,
go there.
100%,
And so
yeah.
in that case, which it's funny because people are like, Jesus, but every religion actually tells you pretty much like if you actually read the Quran, right? And I've had 3 Muslim friends tell me this. There are some people who say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but then they've pointed it out and translated it. They have the version where it's like Arabic and English,
Oh,
I
cool.
think is what it is. Whatever language it is in English.
Arabic,
Is it Arabic? And one of the verses says, Jesus is the word. What does John say? In the beginning was the word was made flesh. In the beginning was the word. There was nothing but the word. And the word was with God, and the word was God, and the word in John 1:14 was made flesh. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it tells you that actually, which is kind of funny because you have 2 different sects of Muslims, and believe
That's
me,
right, the
you
Shiite
guys
and,
you guys can come and attack me in the comments when you see this. I don't care. But it's been shown to me, and I don't know where because I'm not too familiar, but Jesus is a prophet you can pray to, and they hold Jesus in the highest regard. So you pray to Jesus. Okay. Jesus is also a type of Buddha. Pray to Jesus. Follow Jesus. Okay. So when you go to Jesus, which is where they're all telling me to go, every religion is dang on near telling me to go to Jesus. What does Jesus have to say? I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man gets to the Father but by me. So instead of me seeking outside the Bible, because I spent years, I went to Buddhist temples even. Yeah, everything points to Jesus. So why am I looking away from him? It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit different, but I've also spent many years studying the Bible and all this other kind of stuff. I feel like, and you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, you're a little bit newer in like actually like trying to study the Bible and like seeing what the Bible has to say for yourself.
I would say I'm newer because I don't know much of it. But my thing is, I look more at the metaphysical narrative of the Bible. So, for instance, for me, I just look at the agape love narrative, which is at the end of the day, when you look at plants, when you look at growth, when you look at frequency, love is the highest frequency and has the strongest germination process that comes to all of it, right?
Joe has a good question. He says, interesting. So would that kind of difference be reconcilable if it came to dating? And we're talking about the religion. He said, old Joe seems to be the only attacker. Joe, sometimes we have one person talking, sometimes we have two or three. Good nights. We actually had quite a few people earlier. Yeah. For me, and in my dating life and being divorced and being whatever, the fact that we couldn't go to Jesus together, we couldn't pray together to God, even though we were along the lines of the same belief, was an issue. Again, a couple that prays together has a 99% chance of like making it, a 1%, less than a 1% chance of a divorce rate if you're looking at marriage. So for me, that is a deal breaker for me. For him, that is not a deal breaker. I think she has to be a woman of faith, but you're not picky on the faith. Is that?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna like date a Satanist, but but like you know, because I don't want to be a sacrifice. But hashtag get out. But yeah. So. But no, yeah, for me, it's not a focus because I'm looking at, in the moment, I'm looking at, hey, let's go see a movie. Hey, let's, you know, go do this, go do that.
I'm
not looking at long term. Yeah.
I am. Okay. So we're going to go to this. I know we were talking about some, but okay. Real quick. He said, so it makes it easier for me. How would you like me to refer to each of you just so I can,
well,
I'm Lady spiritual. Jane.
Oh, that.
Is this what you, because he said so I can ask each of you, and this is Tokyo.
Yes, Tokyo.
You can call me LJ, Jane, Lady, Tokyo, like Japan.
Yep.
So yeah. So if you have questions, yeah. Okay, so the expectations and pressures from society on men in the 1% versus those struggling financially. So you kind of talked a little bit about expectations and pressures from society on them. Mm-hmm. What do you think those are? How do you think those affect them? And how do you think those affect them in dating?
So when it comes to expectations, you know, it's interesting because, again, the typical millionaire, the typical 1%er will blend into society. But the expectations are probably going to be on the same lines of expectations are falsehoods. So we see Christian Grey, you know, he's got a private plane, he's going to fly you in. My accountant will pick you up, blah blah blah, which are very realistic, but more than likely is not going to be the case at all. And also, again, based on what you said in the numbers, he's not really dating per se. He's already locked and loaded, or it's somebody within his social circle that he's built years of trust with.
Right.
AKA, was she like an assistant or some shit? You know that?
Yeah.
Did she interview him?
I don't remember.
Okay. So, but you know, it's
50 Shades of Grey, surprisingly enough, is not like my type of movie. Like, I did watch it.
I was gonna say
it
doesn't strike me as your type of movie. Like,
I didn't read the book. I don't know.
I like the other ones afterwards because then it got actiony, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
Fair.
But no. So the societal pressures. Let me look at this one more time.
Okay, the one that's struggling. So I'm gonna say this: those struggling financially, right? Okay, I have an ex-husband who almost killed me. It came to that based off of. He was making $100,000+ a year, like a decade ago. We were together over a decade ago. He quit the job because he wanted to be with me. Fair. He had to tell his ex-wife, hey, I'm just going to start sending this money, which is actually still more than what child support would have said that he needed to send. He was giving her like $1,500 a month for 2 kids, and really he had her third kid that he raised but wasn't his. So he basically was like, I'll give you $500 for each kid while he was over there. And he was like, okay, I'm not going to give you that anymore. And he let her know months in advance. And then she would, if she didn't have the money, if he didn't have the money by the 1st, she'd be like, you ain't shit. You ain't this. You ain't never going to be that, whatever. He had to have it by the 5th of every month, which he had it by the 5th of every month. It just depended on where the payday fell. Okay. He basically did every other 2 weeks. And it was only like $500 something a month. Okay. Wow. What it would drop down to. Okay, so because of that, he started gambling. He started drinking. It was a whole big, because he felt societal pressures that he wasn't making enough. He was raised with a grandfather who raised him that like a man is supposed to provide. And so now he's feeling like he's not providing, even though his kids were taken care of because I bought them clothes. She never had to buy clothes for them. She didn't have to buy school supplies. She didn't have to buy anything that they needed. I bought all of that. And so it was just kind of crazy because it came to the point where like he just felt less than because she degraded him to make him feel less than. And so because he started gambling, he drank. And when he drank, he almost tried to kill me. It was no escalation to it. It wasn't actually like he was drunk. It was he drank too much and then crossed the line. And then he drank too much again and then crossed the line. And then after that, it was done. Because the first time I said you could choose me or alcohol. And then he broke in the house and it was like, okay, you chose alcohol. And he told me he was sorry. He said I deserve better. He divorced me. So I think that there is societal pressures on those that are struggling financially with different things, because you have people who expect them to do more, and then the man is always fighting with the woman on what can he do more financially.
So I will say this. When it comes to the struggles from a societal narrative, it is definitely easier on the rich man because he's almost glorified. And as you're explaining that to me, it made me realize that
also, what if they don't know he's rich? But continue on your thought.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. Even if they don't know he's rich. So, for instance, say you and me are like, you know what, we want to do something good for our holidays. We're going to go bless a family, like whatever. The first mom we see in the Walmart just buying groceries, we're going to just pay for a walkout.
Nice.
Right? And low-key, didn't record it, nothing. But you and I feel good and know that we did that. And then it comes on the news. Some random group comes in and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And it's like, we kind of sit there and laugh at the fact that, that was us. So as the 1%er is being glorified by society and how all women are describing him. So actually, Joe, be honest with you, if you look at any like red pill street interview, they describe you. I want a man that's over 6 foot tall. Actually, he's got to be 6'3" or taller now. And he has to have 6-pack abs and make 6 figures. The devil, right? So they're describing you. Right. So it's definitely something that you can kind of like smile about and kind of laugh at, which is that you're ideally a man that most women desire.
You're wanted.
You're wanted. Yeah. Your description, their description is who you are. And that's kind of cool. Right. But now that might feel good. But now let's look at that from the financially struggling individual. The financially struggling individual sees that same video, recognizes, oh, dang, I'm 5'9". Oh, dang, I work at Walmart. I make $17 an hour. Oh, dang, I'm a skinny, little guy, or I'm skinny fat. So I might be skinny, but I'm also out of shape, right? That, even though nobody knows, because again, we'll say both people are anonymous, is wallowing in self-pity, wallowing in depression. Maybe he's getting high more than he should. So I'm definitely willing to acknowledge that the societal pressures, if one is not
financially stable,
if one's not on his path and process and does not know who he is, absolutely can destroy a man and drive him down a dark path that spirals out of control, or AKA, and I'm sure you can pull up numbers, the suicide rate. Or I guess we can't say that.
3 in 4 men. 3 in 4 suicides are men.
Okay, there we go.
So I don't know what the percentages of men that commit or attempt, but 3 in 4 men commit. So 3 in 4 people that commit are men. So 1 in 4 are women. And then women typically have they fail at like a 75%.
Correct.
So women don't succeed. I can tell you right now because I didn't succeed. So like it happened. Okay, I didn't succeed. But 1 in 4, 1 in 4. It does have an auto zoom. I can't turn it off. I don't know where the remote is. It has a remote, and then if because it's being very favoritism, very. My camera is very much so playing favorites with me tonight. Like 2 weeks ago, I was playing favorites with him, but so actually, it actually
It's
wouldn't be
evening
bad.
itself out.
But I have to get the remote, and then I fix it from there. So
That's so funny.
you know, in the future, I'll do that. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's and what's sad is expectations even exist, but this is due to the mainstream narrative. This is due to Disney, you know, telling people that they deserve princesses and things like that. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think this is why it's important for men to unplug, because when you do unplug, then you're not so much as affected by what society says. You're just doing you. You're focused on you. Hopefully.
And I'll tell you, old Joe, he says, pretty privilege is a thing. That was a good zoom. That could have zoomed. Pretty privilege. And that goes for men too. Pretty privilege is, okay, that's not, I see what Joe's dealing with now. That just almost made me car sick. Pretty privilege is a real thing. And so like, it is like, I know I get away with a lot of stuff because I'm pretty. Like, I know that I do. And are you doubting that I'm pretty, Mr. Camera? Like, come on. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, are you? I am in real life. So pretty privilege is a real thing, for real. And I definitely know also when guys say things, I accept something that's totally unacceptable from someone who's way more attractive than not. It's creepy if you're not attractive, and it's not necessarily creepy. Although this guy who would have been attractive, said to me in a work environment, in a workplace environment, he said, if you had an OnlyFans, I would pay. Yeah, no, that was, if you ever say anything to me like that again, I promise you I'm going to file a formal complaint against you. And I don't do formal because I can say things, you know. Sometimes I kind of let things slide. I did not. And I was like, so just for the record, you know, most of the time you can get away with a little more. There are things that are just totally inappropriate. Oh, thanks, Joe. Okay, so the sustainability of relationships. Does money contribute to a stronger bond, or does it bring its own set of challenges?
Absolutely.
Absolutely what? A stronger bond or its own set of challenges?
Both.
I took it very bad, just for the record. He thinks he feels better when unplugged. Yeah. Okay, so I think that here's what people fail to realize. There are a lot of people who are making 6 figures these days. Like, it's more common than not, although you can still look up the average.
Before you take out taxes.
I'll say the average is probably the median across the nation is probably 50, 60,000, probably like 54, 57,000 a year probably. It's probably the median for whatever, right? Even still with looking that up, there are a lot of people I know that make 6 figures and are broke. The thing is, at the end of the day, if you can't manage your money, then what does making money even mean? I get it if you're, you know, multimillionaire. You probably can do that and still be okay. But look at all the people that won the lottery and went broke right after.
Right.
I think over 50% of the time that happens. They win the lottery and 2 years later they're broke. On it. Right? And I think that's what they were saying. Like, there's so many people. Maybe it's not more than 50, but there's so many people that win the lottery and go broke. If you can't manage your money, it doesn't matter how much you make. So I think that, you know, as far as the sustainability goes, finances. So your top 2 reasons for divorce, finance and fucking.
Huh.
And then communication is fighting. I'm going to go with fighting. Finance, fucking, and fighting. Okay, those are your reasons, because fighting causes is usually done by communication, but you could be fighting over those other two. So finances and not sharing your finances, not being open with them, not whatever the case is, not coming to an agreement. And most people these days also don't believe in a joint account, or they believe in putting, we're gonna put what's the more rent is 1,000. Okay, that's 500 we're each gonna put in, and then we're gonna do this because now I have my own finances, you have yours. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is mine, or what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
Correct.
And
that's the reality.
The only reason that happened was because women could not have bank accounts before the 70s. I think the 70s is when a woman could have a bank account without having her husband on it. And so a woman would have to be able to save up like a little bit of cash. They would do it in a coffee can typically. Typically you'll see like Leave It to Beaver, I think, probably put money in a coffee can. My mom put money in a coffee can. My grandma put money. Both my grandmas put money in coffee cans. I don't know. It just seemed like the place to go because they drank coffee all the time. I don't know. But women would take cash, and when they had cash, they'd put it up because that would be theirs. But then also they would do stuff for the house. They would do stuff for their husband, and he'd be like, where'd you get the money from? Oh, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that, Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because OnlyFans didn't exist back then.
right. Well, I mean, that's not, you know. You can booze a ton of money away. Yeah, so see, he even said, like, you know, he threw his money away, you know. And so with that, you know, we act like people.
You know, when I made six figures a few times, my lifestyle adjusted to
reflected. You didn't live inside your means.
No. Well, I did because I still put money away, but not like I should have. I wasn't like I was spending $90 a day on food.
You should have lived below your means.
Yes, 100%.
At least a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, like because I was always out. And here's I'll share this. So we were talking about image and all that, right? I thought that by, you know, being out, having barbecue all the time, being out the restaurants, right? I was expecting that somehow some pretty girl would say, "Oh, hey, you seem like you have a cool life. Oh, you're in LA again. I wanna come along." Never happened. So it's funny how, you know, men can.
Wait, I was down to come along one time, but then your dates didn't work. Although I wasn't a girl trying to date you. You were talking about going to LA, and I said something. I was like, "Oh, I want to go," and you were like, "Oh, let's go," or something. You don't remember that?
I know we talked about the Japanese place, but
I think we talked about it at the Japanese place. But your dates didn't work with mine.
No, that would have been badass.
But we were just talking about like going and having a good time, not like going to like.
No, because even back
I wasn't one of those girls who was like, "Oh my gosh, let me just go."
No, yeah.
You were actually not dating at the time. I think.
No, I was not.
Yeah, so you weren't even.
But like, I wasn't dating, but I was hoping to attract, right? Like, just being selfish and wanting somebody to yearn for me. But anyways, yeah, no, it's funny how that works. And then, you know, all I have now is just really nice memories because I do miss it, you know. But again,
you miss making the six figures?
No, I miss being able to have. You know,
whatever you wanted.
Yeah, like, you know, hey, let's go get Gates. You know, like $40 done, like no big deal.
The goal is live under your means. I do now. I'm starting to want my remote. Is there another remote by the TV? I don't know if it has batteries.
There's two really cool old school Nintendo remotes.
Never mind. It's a game we can play after. Okay, so let's move on.
Yes. No. But,
authenticity and connection. Can wealth overshadow genuine compatibility?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Only with people who are extremely shallow and their compatibility is dollars.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It depends on if you're talking about the guy or the girl, right? I'd be willing to bet that the guy that's making six figures, right? Or sorry, the guy that's wealthy, so multi-millions, I would be willing to bet that he would not deal with the incompatibility, but the woman would in the reverse role, which is the woman dating the guy that makes, you know, that's a millionaire. And like maybe he's not funny. Maybe he's got like, she's not attracted to him, but he can provide a lifestyle. She would be more than willing to say F it because he's got the money and I have fun and I can do what I want and I have these freedoms and he's paying my rent. I will go ahead and deal with the fact that I'm not attracted to him just because.
Because you're getting what you want.
Correct.
That's what you want, and that's your identity is found in that. You did have a comment for you.
Oh, shoot.
He hears exactly what you're saying. He's heard servers say they recognize this in guys and act a certain way to get her tips. Yeah, I mean that's actually like, yeah, I think that's a really good like small view perspective for an overview. Like that's a good demographic to judge.
Yeah.
Because that's what you'll do. You'll notice that he has it, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, hi, do you want? Oh, don't worry, put a little extra shot in there for you, even though you didn't.
Right. Like, it's a thing. And, you know, and I have this rule now where even if I pray to God that I never see or never meet a truly genuine and attractive waitress. Because I have a rule. I don't hit on waitresses. Nope.
Oh.
Like, nope.
So what if I was a waitress?
I'd have
you
to.
already know me. It doesn't.
I'd
count.
have to wait till you're out in a church function or at a party or, you know, like I'd have to hope that the universe allows us to bump into each other at Walmart, right?
I think that authenticity will not last with connections. So you saying like, you know, because you talked about can wealth overshadow genuine compatibility, right? You said you think it can. I think that it can, but not for long. Like authenticity is going to, and when you look at why men leave women,
Let's hear it.
Again, men are only filing for divorce 20 to 30% of the time. Okay, now 2 of my divorces have been filed for. One was a cheater. One thought I deserved better. Okay, so that's not normal. Okay. But generally it's going to happen because she wound up cheating on him, or she was somebody he didn't like. She was a totally different person. So when the men do leave, it's because they realize they are not who that woman wants. I mean, essentially, if I'm cheating on you, I don't want you, right? Like right. I have to have a connection with somebody. The ship has sailed. Right? Yeah. And so I'm looking for something better or something to fulfill whatever need I think is missing.
Right.
And so you're not enough. Or you realize I'm not who you thought I was. I played the game long enough to get married. I'm narcissistic. Okay. I'm not really narcissistic, guys. Or, you know, that could be the same for the man, which sometimes that is the case. And men are more narcissistic than women, like as far as who's actually diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder or whatever. It is men over women. Majority of men are as far as who's narcissistic. But I think a lot of women have a lot of narcissistic traits and just undiagnosed, right?
Correct, for sure.
So I think that, I don't think that it is, I don't think it's going to be sustainable.
Yeah, now that I'll agree with you on. I don't think it will last.
In rare cases, it will, but in general, it won't.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Look at Elon Musk. He's been divorced or separated or whatever like 3 times. Yeah. He has like 3 baby moms or whatever the case is.
Really?
Yeah, he has 3 kids with one woman, his ex-wife, and I think then he had another kid.
That singer chick.
He had a kid with her.
He did?
One singer chick. She is not together, and then there was somebody else. There's like 3 people. Yeah, and he's not. It's not because that's now. Is that what they wanted? I don't know. Wait, so we need a comment from me. Oh, what comment? Dang, I don't know. It went to me. That was a good time. See, sometimes it zooms so perfectly.
Maybe it just needs an update, software update.
Okay, personal stories and insight from viewers and special guests who have navigated the dating scene from both ends of the economic spectrum.
Well, that's funny. Okay. We just so happen to have somebody.
We have Joe. We have old Joe.
Been both on the ugly side and on the successful side. I know that I have a feeling Joe has a powerful story.
Probably.
I'm curious. I really am.
I've never been on the ugly side.
Yeah. Well, no, there's a comment he said earlier.
No, he said he was ugly and attractive. He did say that.
Okay,
yeah, he said I was ugly. I've been both ugly and attractive.
Yeah.
He said that himself. We're not calling him ugly.
Correct.
For the record, no. If you're tuning in and you're not seeing the live because I edited this, old Joe's been on our live and he's been commenting.
Yes.
He's great.
Yes.
And he said himself he's ugly and attractive.
Yeah.
Now me, I've never been ugly. I've been called ugly. I don't believe it at this point in my life. I used to believe it myself when I was younger, but apparently I was never actually
I've never
ugly.
been called ugly. I was always called weird, which had its own negative connotation with it.
I like being weird. Actually, weird has never bothered me. And I think weird is a compliment because that means you're unique and you're peculiar. And the thing is that biblically, God calls us people peculiar. Like the word is peculiar, and that means set apart. So the thing is that being weird, peculiar, unique, there's nothing wrong with that. With being different. And the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to force you. Even still, we have our religious conversations, right?
Yeah.
Just to make sure I'm not crazy. You've never felt forced to believe exactly what I believe in.
No, you're one of the rare Christians that don't do that.
Right. But I make compelling arguments.
Yeah.
I think so. And I will show you if I know exactly where it is, book, chapter, verse. You know what I'm saying? So I think that as far as that goes, it's a little different. For men, it has a lot to do with the body. A good body can override a mediocre face.
He's
Butterface.
right.
That's where Butterface came from.
Correct. Yep.
She looked good, but her face, like she got a body, but her face. So you think about that. The brown bag special. Yeah, you're right. So woman, but actually that's kind of ironic, because he's saying that like an ugly woman can get by if she has a nice body.
Correct.
But honestly, a man that works out, even if he's not attractive in the face, is way more attractive than one that doesn't.
True.
So that's actually the same for both sexes. I never thought about that because, we sit here and we think, we make jokes of butterface, you know what I'm saying? And all that stuff. And then all these women that spend all this money on their surgery for their body. And they think that that's what a man wants, because in a way, honestly, most of them are probably not pretty enough without the makeup.
Right.
That they have to invest in different parts to make themselves be acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I as a guy, right? Like, I can't stand it when I'm on a dating app and this woman is put all this money in her face, whether it's in the form of makeup or Botox in the lips, and it's like, okay, you have a nice face, but if your body's not right, don't want you.
So an ugly girl with a nice body is better than a pretty girl with a not nice body.
Correct.
Huh.
For me, at least.
So,
Because I got, I'm a man of substance. I'm a bootyologist, These things matter,
oh, bootyologist.
So,
I got blessed. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm good in all areas. I have a pretty face. I have these things.
Yeah.
I have a nice little onion in the back.
Onion. Not
Like
a
it
peach?
just- Oh no, it pokes out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's maybe
Okay.
a peach. A peach could be. It sounds nicer. It's sweeter.
Yeah.
I don't smell like an onion. So I don't smell like one. I'm just saying,
Lord,
like,
Jesus.
because honestly,
Or is there
onion
layers to the
is layers. Well, onion was used before peach was, because peach wasn't used till emoji. Really, peach was used to talk about the vajayjay back in the day.
What?
Yeah, before the emoji, the peach emoji is the booty now.
Yeah.
But you got to think, before we had emojis. Yeah, it was like onion was a word that was called, and it was like a booty that like
Oh
pokes
my
out.
God! Yes,
And then,
that was an onion booty.
And then
Oh my
a
God.
peach, and then a peach was the vajayjay, because it should be sweet like nectar, which is a peach, right? So again, I be showing my age, y'all. I be showing my age.
Wow.
After my divorce, I wrecked myself in the gym. I was a different person. The same women that called me ugly were offering me sex, touching me, batting eyes. Okay, so here's something I don't understand. And you as a man, you did this. And this is something typically women do. But I think that it's crazy. I think he did it. I think his motives behind it was different than women's. And Joe definitely, again, correct me if I'm wrong. Joe's motives were to just go to the gym, work out, probably more so work off whatever you felt from your divorce, where a woman will look, 20 pounds less than me, get in a relationship, get pregnant, 40 pounds more than me, and then be like, oh, he better accept me. And then as soon as we're divorced now, I'm going to go work out to show him what he could have had or what he doesn't have or what. But why couldn't I keep up with myself when we were married?
Damn.
Like, that's what I don't understand. And I get, like, there's a fluctuation in weight. I have my ex-boyfriend, right? He was, I gained a lot of weight with him. I lost my dad after we started dating. And I went through depression. I gained 30 pounds in 2 months. For most people, 30 pounds, yeah, you look a little bigger. I'm 4'11". 30 pounds looks, I was round, okay? So I was 30 pounds bigger. And for me, I got big and he didn't even notice or care. Like that had nothing to do with why we broke up. And I didn't want to be that big. I wasn't happy with myself. Right. So it was actually not him. And he didn't even really notice. He'd be like, man, you're beautiful. Like he would constantly like, you know what I'm saying? But for me, I was not happy. And even when I look at those pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I never allow myself to get that big again. Right. And so I don't know, but women and men generally have different reasons. And yeah, he said my frustrations. He want to let his frustrations out. And so that's the whole thing, is that the same thing. Right. And so letting your frustrations out versus me trying to show you what you now let me do like a vengeful type workout. Yeah. I should have did that the whole time. I should have been healthier for myself the whole time. Correct.
And that's what I see in the gym when you look at the TikToks where, oh, he was staring at me, blah, blah, blah. It's so frustrating because, let's be fair here. Women hit 15, boom, blessed. Men hit 15, acne.
I saw something that said voice. A man doesn't hit his peak until he's 40.
Correct. So, and that's if he's on his purpose, right? That's if he's not drinking, not smoking.
What are the 3 P's?
Path, process, purpose.
Get on your path, go through the process, and find your purpose. Is that it?
Purpose first, which outlines the path, and then you have to be obedient to the process. Yep.
Discipline is freedom.
100%.
All right, so... Oh, go ahead.
But no, as a man, we don't get to hit the magic age and boom, we show up. Look at me, I got my pecs and that. No, we have to fight and chisel and work at the physique.
Okay, well, when I'm like 25, I had to fight and work at it. When I hit 32, I was like, I'm fat now. Oh my gosh, let me just work at this.
You didn't have to go to the gym for these.
I had to go to the gym. This is not a flattering shirt for this because it's like I'm 2 different people almost. Like I have to like pull this up. You can't even see me. I'm the same color as my shirt, but like it's
what? This is not the same color of your shirt.
Like, anyways, that's beside the point. I'm gonna edit all that out.
Jesus,
that did not work how I wanted it to. Anyways,
but yeah, at the end of the day, the curves that women are blessed with that we absolutely appreciate. They don't have to work out for everything that a woman likes about me. Everything that allows me to be on.
I don't have to work out for. This is my not workout body. Imagine if I worked out.
She could bench press me probably. So she was in the military. But yes,
I have tennis elbow.
Or at least she could drag me to a safe space because you have to carry.
You know what? Because I'm so little. The funny thing is, nobody wanted to get with the dude that was 6'2", and everybody would partner with somebody who was about their height. So with me being 4'11", do you know for my CFT, for my combat finish test, I was with the dude that was 6'2". He's with me because there's nobody that's my size and there's nobody that's his size. And that happened damn near all the time. Like that's what it...
Your combat partner?
Yeah, well, combat fitness test. So you have a CFT and a PFT. I think it's still called a CFT now that I've been out for, a decade or whatever. But that's the person you have to drag. Like part of it is dragging. It's not a long way. I think it's like 25 meters or something like that. You don't have to drag them far. And then you have to fireman carry them. Also, well, you have to carry them as always fireman carry because that's the easiest way to carry someone because you put them like over here. and the weight's kind of evenly distributed. But
How'd you manage?
well, because that's what you do.
No, how did you manage?
I mean, I just did it.
Wow.
That's what you're supposed to do. You just do it. So, but he had it easy because I was his partner.
Right.
Every time they would have us grappling, I'd be broken 2 and 2. So they'd be like, whoop! I'd be a half. And then I like low key would like pinch the inside of his thigh or something.
Oh,
which is
Lord.
like not, that's not quite cheating because you're not allowed to go for the groin. And I'd go like for the inner thigh. So it's not quite cheating. It's borderline, but it was not considered cheating. So I'm like, he about to fold me a half. I'm about to make this work for me. Like, you have to think, it has to be realistic for me, bro. I'm not about to pin down a man that's 6'4". Like, I'm 2 feet shorter than this guy. I'm not about a foot and a half, bro. I'm not about to pin him down without fighting a little dirty. Anyways, that's all we have, folks.
Oh my Lord.
It's bedtime.
Is it? Oh yeah,
It's midnight.
past 10 minutes. Oh my God.
We gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
I gotta go work. We got work to do.
We
We're
do.
like, we work.
Gotta
We're the
work.
working class.
Gotta wake up at 6 a.m., make my breakfast.
I don't even make breakfast. I
You
just
don't?
wake up at 6 a.m. and go to work. I have coffee for like an hour.
Say again?
I have coffee for like an hour.
I like the accent on
Oh,
coffee.
I don't have an accent. It's just.
It's very
Is there a cat stuck?
stuck.
I heard a cat meow. Is it at the top of the stairs? Oh, well, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's in a bathroom or something. Oh, it's just he just wants attention. He's so bougie.
Is that the fluffy haired one?
It's Dennis, yeah. Fluffy, Dennis the Menace. Okay. Well, thank you, old Joe, for joining us. And anyone else thank you for joining us this time. And we will see you next time, which we don't really have real times when we release anything.
It's
or do
just nice
anything
to
yet.
say.
It is. We'll see you next time.
See you later, alligator.